Okay, I'm going to start all over. This is Ron McKinney. I just started the recording, so sorry about that. This is Ron McKinney with GotPhoto. In our latest webinar series, we are very excited to have Michael Barrett of GotPhoto here with us, and Nancy Emmerich and Rose Coleman from Oklahoma to talk about their experience with GotPhoto. We're going to open things up with Michael talking about GotPhoto. And so, Michael, go ahead and take it from there.
Thank you, Ron. And GotPhoto was obviously had the privilege of being at the Deux conference this year, earlier on when things were able to occur like this, which was a nice conference over there in Arizona. And today we're obviously just going to be here in, I guess, a help capacity, if you like, for Rose and Nancy. They're the experts here. We're going to let them talk more about their experiences and so forth. In a very quick nutshell, if you don't know what GotPhoto is, it's essentially a SaaS type online software that you can use for high volume photography, typically schools, some sports, dance and so forth. And it really gives you all in one package that you can use to tag photos, manage them as photo jobs, obviously then use the e-commerce side to sell the photos to your parents, typically as the end customer. You can also, of course, use text email marketing that's all built in there. And then we have integrations to your labs or even to your own lab if you have a vertical in-house Naritsu or something like this, so that you can make this a seamless process from arranging the photo shoot, doing the pictures, uploading them, selling them, getting them produced, and then also doing things obviously on the side like delivering digital files and so forth. We've been around for over 8 years now, and we're specialists in this volume photography. We're always here to maybe obviously answer more specific questions you have to your business and so forth, so you're welcome to reach out to us. And at the end, we might just have a look at some of the pricing options and so forth as well. But it is an all-in-one solution. I really recommend that you try it out. And we want to make that the best platform for doing things like dance photography at volume, whether it's prepaid or postpaid. It doesn't matter in the online gallery realm or online sense. We really want to be the market leader in that frame. So always happy to hear your feedback as well, but definitely get in touch with one of us to have a few more questions and so forth if you have some specifics to your business. But throughout the talk here, you can of course fire away some questions and I'll answer on the side. I think it's best just to really introduce Rose and Nancy. They're going to be the key speakers today, and they have tons of interesting things to talk to you about, and I'll jump back in from time to time. So thanks, Ron, and I'll hand it over to you, Rose and Nancy.
Hello. Okay, so my name is Rose Coleman. This is my mom, Nancy. Welcome, everyone. We're glad you guys are here. We're here to kind of talk about our experiences with dance photography and switching online, and we have chosen to go with GotPhoto for those and kind of tell you a little bit about our experiences this year and what's worked, what didn't work, those kind of things, and kind of tell you the ins and outs of the back end of the studio. So I'm going to share my screen with you so you can see our stuff. Click on there. Okay, so let me hit the play button. So we're in Oklahoma. We do quite a few dance studios, a lot of recreational dance studios in our area. I think we do like 27 now or something like that. We've been doing it for a very long time. My mom just shot this last week in pieces, COVID friendly and stuff like that. So we do a lot of in-studio work, recital, dance pictures, individuals and groups, and then company stuff on location, things like that. And we do quite a few. So this is what we're gonna kind of hit on and talk about today, just so you guys can know kind of some about our story and what we do. We're gonna hit on like selling images that are online worthy, of making those sales, how to shoot QR codes. Everyone has questions about that, like what in the world? The first time I heard QR codes, I was like, heck no, not doing that. That sounds like a problem, sounds like something that's gonna mess up later, but it didn't. And I was just like, you know, so shooting that, also talking about the barcode scanning options that they have for putting this stuff up online. And essentially what that means is when you shoot a QR code, it's gonna tag those images to that QR code and to that potential buyer and everything that goes along with it. We're also going to hit on what individualized galleries look like, because that was a really big important thing for us. Like, it had to send out an individualized gallery, had to text message it to the parents. Those were just a couple of nuggets that were super important to us. We're going to hit on the communication profiles that the system can do and how you can customize that, what that looks like, text message and email friendly, how you can make it very specific to your shoots and things like that, with your coupon codes, things like that. We're also going to show like some jobs of the statistics, like the sales statistics, so you can see buy rates, order averages, when people have logged in to see those images, when they've used their coupon codes, how quickly things are turning around, things like that. And then we're going to hit it up for our questions and answers. And I know we're going to be, Ron's going to be hitting those with us throughout the program. That's totally fine. So this is what we're going to be talking about. You want to talk about our transition?
I started doing dance in in the 90s, the early 90s, because I had a bride that also had a dance studio, and she said, would you consider doing, and I said, well, I don't know, let me see what it's like. And I came over and I looked at her pictures and I went, oh, these are awful. I can do this. I can do better than this. And that was my first dance studio. And from there, I got another one and another one. And pretty soon we were up to 5, and I thought, ooh, this is wonderful. And this is all I can do. And now we've got 27, all different sizes, some as small as like 50 dancers, and then some up to 400. I know Ron's got some bigger ones than that, but 400 is probably about the top for here in Oklahoma City. And that was like, we started doing it this way, then we transitioned to this and this and this. And we were doing on-site selling right at the event, and that was very successful for us. Rose is the aggressive, let's try something new, let's do something new. I am the boat anchor that goes, but what we've got is working. Let's just do it this way because it works. And look, we can make $50 a dancer. And Rose goes, but look, what if we could make 150? And I went, well, I like the sound of that, but it scares me to change. And then COVID happened, and I went, well, why don't we change if we can get anybody to come in for pictures? I will tell you, a lot of our studios did not do recitals. I mean, some of them flat canceled it, and we didn't do any photography. And then some of them were just normal. And then we did a lot where we just did individuals and no groups. But thanks to my daughter, we've gone with GotPhoto. And I will tell you that I was a super skeptic. I'm like, no, I don't want to change. I like what we're doing. But I'm liking GotPhoto.
Mm-hmm.
I am.
Yeah. So to kind of share some of our work and some of the stuff we did, what we did previously in our system worked really, really well. We shot with the Canons paired with a router. You could show images immediately as we shot. We were super efficient, had a really good average, and we did a lot of little people. And so we had a really good buy rate, really good order average per dance costume, and people could see their pictures as we were taking them. So immediately, not in the camera room, but outside the camera room, we shot and showed. That was our system, and it worked really well. With that, we had to have more staff, more people, more technology, things like that. And obviously with COVID, not able to do that. Less is more in all those situations. So this was definitely our year to try something new and test out some of these features. One, we hadn't done it in the past before because it didn't do some of the things that I knew that we needed to have happen, like text messaging. I didn't want it to email their photos. I wanted to text message their photos, things like that I just knew would be really impactful for sales. So this year, we made the switch. And so we were just like, okay, we're going to try it out. So we're going to kind of give you our back end of like what that worked. But to say, you know, if you got a system that's rocking and great, that's great. Ours was. It wasn't a faulty system that wasn't working. It was a really, really successful system.
Yeah, the nice thing I think that I've heard from parents, because that's who I care about, or what the parents think, is they go, well, I like that I don't have to decide right now.
Yeah, it's so much easier.
And whereas we really did have a good buy rate, and I was very happy with our sales average, but I hear from parents, oh, I don't have to make a decision tonight. See, I kind of I thought they'd like to just get it done, get it over, and move on. But you know how people are. But the nice thing about GotPhoto is you can't put it off forever, because they'll remind you, hey, you've got till Friday, or you've got it however you want to set it up. Mm-hmm. And we've got a lot of positives. People are used to buying online now, and they want to buy online.
Yeah, so we're gonna make that transition. It's been great. So the first thing we kind of wanted to talk about is can your images sell online? And you know, that is a personal thing. Like our strategy is we want the images to go up at least 90% of the way done. So they're retouched, they're enhanced, they're not really raw. I mean, we've done adjustments to them. We've made sure exposures look great. We're not going to put up raw images and then have a totally different image come out. That's just not our strategy. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. It's just based on what you want your images to look like. So they kind of have to be able to sell themselves, because obviously there's not a person selling those images for you when they go up online. So that works as part of our strategy. We want them to be 90% of the way there. Within GotPhoto, you can set the images to immediately release to your client, to download, go to the lab, order, that kind of stuff, however we fulfill it. Or you can set that job to not until you manually release it. And so you can change out that photo, replace it with an additional retouched photo or anything like that, make sure the cropping is right, things like that. So there are options in that, and that's a big thing.
But they need to be pretty. I mean, they need to be ready to roll. Dawn spends a lot of time, fixing bruises and bumps. Yeah, our dancers scratched up, so things like that. The exposure's right, the background's fixed, and they're ready to roll.
Yeah, so that's just something to think about.
So Rose, I just want to kind of jump in for just a second. And as I do this, I want to remind everyone that as we're doing this presentation, if you have any questions, you can post them in chat. Michael and I will be watching the chat channel. Be sure you set it, because the default is automatically just to go to panelists, but we want everyone to be able to see your questions. So set your chat to go to all panelists and attendees, and feel free to post your questions there. But Rose, since you're talking about, like how that works for how you can, release the pictures once they're sold, and you may be planning to do this later, and if so, then we can just stick with that. But I'm curious, how does it work for the galleries, to go up to them originally, so they can actually see their galleries the first time? Do you have an opportunity to do like a batch edit in Lightroom, or how does it work?
Yeah, so there are different options to essentially what you do when you create everything. You create a photo job, and then that photo job is where you put in your pricing profile, your communication profile, any coupons that you would have, when you're going to archive those photos, and when your coupon deadline is. And then within that main settings page is you can tell it to immediately release those images out from their order. They're done, they're ready to go. Or you can say, no, do not directly send those to off. Wait till and so they go into a manual revisions tab. So when clients place an order, you have a dashboard on your thing, and you get email notifications, but they go to a manual revisions tab. So you log in, you look at those, you can replace photos at that time and then release them after. But we're going to show some pictures of kind of what that looks like.
Okay, great.
Was that your question? Is that what you meant, Ron?
It is. I was really talking about the front end, when they see it. I totally understand the back end, and I totally love the idea that I can control the pictures that are released, because it's always been my process to do a batch edit of the, in Lightroom of the pictures before they go out there, because they have to look good enough for them to want to purchase, but I don't want to spend a lot of time editing pictures that they're actually not going to purchase. So for me, it's always been in between there that I do, and I just wanted to be sure we had that option of being able to make them look their best before they could see them. Not the best, but make them look really good.
Yes. So I know we use Lightroom too. I know there is, maybe Michael could talk a little bit about that. There's a way to upload the files through Lightroom since you're using that system. I know a lot of people do. You can also upload them one by one, or you can use this program called Easy Uploader. That's part of the software that uploads the images pretty quickly. So it doesn't have to be you're shooting immediately and uploading immediately. You just, when you're ready to put them into the system after they've been batch processed and retouched and run your recipes and stuff like that. But Michael, there is a way to upload those through Lightroom, right?
Yeah, right. We have a Lightroom plugin, but essentially this is an optional thing. Often photographers or studios still prefer to upload through an FTP server or through the Easy Upload, like you mentioned, Rose. So all the options there you gave, Rose, are correct.
Okay, cool. So This is what we did prior to COVID. So we would photograph, like on the right side, their individual setup, like we would photograph their name and kind of their information. We always took an ID card before the individual photos. And then before the group, we would always take a picture of their name because we always put the name on the photo. It's just something that we've always done to kind of personalize the name of the group on the photo. So this is what we do. So we would take a picture of their name, do their pictures. We would take a picture of the group and then do those group pictures. That way we know whoever's running the files knew this was Aurora's waltz. And then when they retouch that file, they put that on the file and they put that on the photo itself. And then when we did their individual photos, that's how we cataloged them on the back end system. So prior to, so photographing now looks like this. So you get these QR codes, which essentially you upload information. There's multiple ways to do that. You upload their information prior to the shoot into the GotPhoto system. So there's different strategies on that. Like we have done where they've signed up, for a time slot, and then we require their dancer's first and last name, their parents' first and last name, email, and cell phone. That's essentially the information that we need to have. You can get more, but that's what we use. You collect all that information in a PDF and you upload it into the system. And so on the left, then you download these QR cards. So essentially you can download those, print those, pass those out, or have them at your station. Or like on the right, what we've been doing the last couple of weeks is just loading them on a laptop or an iPad with like PDF Express or something where you just simply start typing in a couple letters of their name and their card pops up really quickly and we're photographing them. So essentially the card is what's on the right. It has this QR code on it. It has their name on it. It has the coupon information. And if you were to pass this card out, they could log in and order from that. It has the website to go to, their personalized code. It has like the 1, 2, 3 steps on it. We don't use that part of it, but it does have that on there. It is an option for people. But essentially, we photograph this QR code. Yep, see, he's got it, Michael's got it. And then we photograph all the individuals after that shoot for that card. Essentially, when you're ready to upload those pictures into the system, and I'll show a picture of this later, it'll see that card and it'll tell every picture after that that it's connected to that client. And since you've already uploaded the client's information, it's also connected to that client's parent and everything. So then creating individualized galleries on the back end system is very easy to do. And then it kind of separates everything. And so your client only gets those images, which that was really big to me. I didn't want to have a system, an online system where you got to see everyone's photos. Like I just wanted to see, that child's photos get to that parent with that information.
Okay, and for those of you that are a little bit more like the boat anchor here, and Rose gives a lot of information that makes kind of my eyes want to roll up in my head because I can't follow it all. It's not very hard. That's what I want to assure you. She's just very techie and I'm not. Last weekend we shot some color shoots at the barn and unfortunately I forgot to have them pre-register and I printed out a bunch of blank cards. And here's the cool thing. You walk over to the mom and they can hover their camera right over their little QR code and then it instantly allows them to register. And I enjoyed that because it gives me time to talk to the parent, especially on this session that's going to last an hour. It's not like I don't have plenty of, it gives me time to talk to her and tell them how cool this is going to be. And this is going to show up on your phone. And everybody was like, oh, that's neat,
So it's allowing the parents to register right then and there.
Right then and there.
If you didn't have that information prior to.
And I think I felt like it kind of gave us the cool factor, like, ooh, this is kind of cool, I mean, I know that sounds silly, but I thought she was impressed that she hovered it, took her to it, and she put 3 things in, and now she's registered.
Yeah, and so we just told them like, okay, once these images go live, it's going to go straight to your phone, and you're going to have them. So she just kind of registered on site there. So those are 2 different options. You can have all that information prior to, or you can just have them register, like if you're doing sessions like that, just have blank ones. So yeah. It works. This is the barcoding scan thing. This is kind of new. We haven't used it yet. I'm kind of really interested in using it. But Michael's going to talk a little bit about this, the in-tag system where you can like attach a barcode scanner and then have a little bit, just a little bit different process.
Right, yeah, so this is actually pretty much the same thing in principle as your QR card. And it's really a just an option for you if you prefer to scan a card, or in situations where you need a lot more speed, maybe. So we have, in a school scenario, it could be that you might be doing like a 2,000 kid high school, right? And you only have a set amount of time per kid. It might mean that it's a bit prohibitive to actually photograph a card, and it could also mean that scanning it is more suitable. In a dance scenario, it could be that, you know, children are coming in one costume and they're coming back later. And that also could mean that a scanning solution is a bit better than photographing the card, which is why we have an integration with Fullography, and they make a product called Intagged. Intagged essentially is just giving you the ability to have the little scanner, like a little Opticon scanner that any of you guys that have done volume photography before would be familiar with, but it's integrated by Bluetooth to your actual camera. And all that is really doing is actually embedding the access code, which is actually embedded in this QR, and I've got GotPhoto QR as well, into the metadata of the images that you were taking. So if Ron comes up to get his photo taken, I scan Ron's barcode. Now, on this particular QR, I could be using it with paper as well, not just necessarily how Rose uses it on a computer screen, but you can see there's also like a little old 1D code right there. And rather than photograph the QR square, the 2D code, I'm going to use the 1D code, and I'm just going to scan it with my Opticon. We now know that the following photographs will be of Ron. And the access code, which is already predetermined, and I don't want to make it too complicated now because it's actually a lot simpler than it is, will be then embedded into the data of all those photos I've taken of Ron. Rose then comes to get her photo taken. I then scan Rose's unique barcode, and now, of course, Rose's access code information is embedded in the metadata of the subsequent photos, and on and on. And so in theory, it's very similar to the QR tagging method. It just basically means that you can scan with a barcode scanner, and of course, it doesn't require being tethered or anything like that, which is also beneficial for some photographers who don't want to have a laptop, they don't want to have cables everywhere. This little Bluetooth scanner, it's usually about the size of a matchbox, is a little bit easier to control, but you'll have that metadata all the way through. So if you have a random photo on a local drive that you sort of lost out of your folder or something like that, you can just click on, obviously, the information of that photograph, and you'll be able to then determine who that student is. It could be from a job 3 weeks ago. It doesn't matter because it's in the metadata of the file. So we're fully integrated with Intagged, and we can obviously help you out with that. If that process is more interesting or necessary for you than actually photographing QR cards. And I'll just add one more point to the QR card. In general, whether you scan it or take a photograph, if you do print it on paper, and I've got this one on cardstock, for instance, it is a good thing, as Rose described, to give home. So the kids can give this to the parents, or ideally give it straight to the parents, because they've got all the information they need on here to be able to contact you guys. They can see the discount period, if there is one. Maybe there's an early bird special. And of course, as Nancy mentioned, they can just hover their phone camera over that QR and log in to see those photos, or at least sign up to get notified when the photo is available. So that piece itself can be very valuable in the whole process. But I'll give it back to Rose.
Awesome. Okay, so here's a little bit of the behind the scenes. So you see on the screen, the first picture is the QR code, and it has a little green happy QR code sticker above it. That's how you know it's good. It saw it, it registered it, it knows and so these are the pictures that we followed after. So it pretty much, you photograph that code, and then all the pictures after are linked into the app person's folder, into that person's personalized gallery, and then into that person's client information, like her parents' cell phone email. So essentially you upload all the pictures in order, and then every time it sees another QR code, it links it to the next set of pictures, and then the next, and that's how it goes down. That's how it builds out the galleries, okay? So this is a shot we did last week, and they've already ordered off of it. So we can log in there and see these are the images that they ordered. You can also hide images if there's duplicates or something like that. You can hide those. You can also see how many times she's logged in. You can see all the parent information when you click on her access code, things like that. But that's kind of how it looks on the back end of the system. It's very easy. Essentially what you do is upload all your photos. You make sure that every time there's a QR code photo, that green mark is above it, that it saw it for some reason. Maybe it was out of focus or something. Like, you just want to make sure once those are all registered. So I just check through that, and then I click this button that says create access codes, and essentially it just divides it into everyone's folders. Okay, so what a parent sees. Okay, I just screenshotted this from last week. So like when they click on this, this is essentially kind of what they see on an email on a website. So it shows like a little sample of their pictures. It shows the coupon code at the bottom. It shows at the bottom and at the top when their code is expiring. It has like a countdown measuring like, oh, you only have 3 more hours to use your coupon code, that kind of stuff. And then you click on the button that says order photos. It has her name, things like that. What I like about the system is the coupon code, we have found out that we just are setting like a 10% off within a very short amount of time once the images are live. These were headshots, so they're a little bit different from dance, but we are doing like at least 10% off on like a minimum order of $40. But if they order within like 4 days, like something very, very fast. So we're having that coupon kind of default out. But this is kind of what it sees. But the coupon is already applied. They don't need to remember a code and forget it later, and you have to make it every single time. It's just already applied within that order. You can also set it to apply just one time per access code or multiple times. Like if a dad's ordering in and a grandparent's ordering in, you can do that as well. But this is kind of what they see. So this is just an example to see like if you, like what a package would look like. This is a download all photos. It shows like how many pictures are in there. It shows at the bottom, these are digital photos, no shipping costs, immediately after payment is received, no prints included in this package. This, I just think it looks very slick and very easy to understand as far as like every package you build in there, it has pictures of your items in there, which I think are really nice. You know, I think the watermark, you can upload your own watermark. I know a lot of people do that. I like that what comes with the GotPhoto system because it kind of keeps a little sliver in the middle, which is usually if you're doing anything tighter of their face in, so it doesn't like cloud that up because, you know, used to get that a lot. But it just looks really nice. This is like if they're scrolling on their phone, just kind of how the images are going to look like. It's just really easy to like know that they can heart this photo as a favorite. They can choose to click on that photo just to buy that image. But it's nice and big, it's slick, and it's very clean, which I appreciate. Okay, communication profiles. One of the big things that we are very interested in this system and the software for was because you could kind of determine your own communication after the job is set to selling. This is just an example of like what ours is right now for dance. That's a 10% off. So once it's set to selling, they get an email and a text message, okay? And then like 45 days after selling, we've got it that your photos are gonna set to expire. When their coupon is gonna expire, we have an email go out and a text message that says, hey, your personal photo coupon is gonna expire in 2 days. And then there's other, you know, you can just set it up to be however way you want based on the information you put in there. If you've told it to archive 3 months down the line that people are done seeing their pictures, you can send them an email 2 days before and just remind them, hey, photos are going to archive, you better order them. Once a parent has ordered their photos, they stop getting information, which I love about the system. We had used a different system that they kept getting information up, and it was very annoying for parents. So once a buyer has placed an order, the only information they will get at the very end we have set up is just once those images are set to archive, they will get that last email, just in case, like, hey, did you get all the pictures that you want? Because these are going away. So I really like that about this system, you know, because it's like enough hassle to like keep parents and keep information out there, but then once they've ordered, it's done. And that's really, I mean, that's really good for me. But you can set up it all based on however way you want. There's really good Black Friday stuff in there. There's good Christmas stuff in there, templates that you can use, which are awesome. We just kind of went in there and built it. I knew I wanted a text message to go out immediately, and I wanted a text message before the coupon expired. So you can set it up to be as often or as not often as you want, which I really like. So we kind of got cheer in there and dance and football and volleyball, and they're all a little bit different. And then you can put your verbiage in there. Also within the emails, which I really like, they will have a place to put your photos. So they'll see like little proofs of their first like 6 photos, which I think is a lot more personable than seeing something generic or like a billboard that says, hey, look at your photos. When you see your own child's photos out there, it's more likely that you're gonna click and look at it and see what's going on in there. So,
and you know, I'm kind of excited. I know this is silly to try the Black Friday thing because I have a wedding photographer a friend that last year, he said, you know, we've never done a Black Friday. And she said, we made $2,000 by just hitting out, hey, we've got this going on for Black Friday.
Mm-hmm.
I'm hoping for a bigger return than that. But to me, I mean, that's something we've never been able to do before. We were always going to do it because we were going to harvest all those emails.
Yeah.
Someday before we die. We're going to type all those
And you
emails we used to have.
And you guys make those ornaments, so
And see, and
we
we
make
do
those Christmas ornaments.
Christmas ornaments here on site, and they're very popular. And I think that might be a huge seller.
That'd be fun.
And gifty things. So I'm kind of jazzed about that this year.
Yeah, that's really nice. Okay, this is just a shot to be like, just so you can kind of see. And the text message is a little bit different from emails. You can't put pictures and fun things in there, but this is how you can put the information. There are tons of little, whether they put little holds in there, so you can put like the coupon code. You can put their direct link into it. You can put their expiration. Like you put all these things that the software just automatically fills in for you, which is really, really nice. So, and then you can see what it looks like.
And Rose, before you go further, I want to go back to the coupon code. You talked about like it expires and then the images get archived. And as you know, we always get parents who contact us 3 months later, sometimes a year or two later, and say, hey, I need to order these pictures. So does that mean that like once they're archived, like there's then like an increased price, or, you know, what does it mean?
You know, I've always wanted to do that. It should be more after, because it's a big old pain in the butt later to find people's photos, but my mom's too much of a nice person to do that. And it's a pain in the rear to go find somebody's photos. So we've set our stuff to archive. Certain shoots, headshots like 3 months later, certain dance shoots, like 6 months later?
Yeah.
Just so they'll get that additional email going out. Michael would probably have to talk more about this, because as far as like, I think you can unarchive them. I don't think they're gone. Yeah, so it's just kind of more notifications of it, you know, just tell them, hey, you need to do this. These are not here.
See, we had those dance parents that, you know, it's the third time to contact us because, oh, I didn't order, or I can't find my download, or my what. And right now we don't have anything that we can point to that said, you know, you got a notification. And after that, you know, it's off the server. I'm going to toughen up and say, you know, it's a $20 fee or whatever for us to go find it. You know, I really don't want them to order after that time. I want to be done with it.
Yeah, but the coupon you can set up to be, they told us, the GotPhoto people told us, said coupons work the best if they expire on Sundays. So we typically set ours to expire on a Sunday, and it's a good buy day. And then it just has that information down there. So we have been doing for dance like a 10% off at like a $40 minimum order. And so that's great. It's been working really well for us, but it will definitely show up on when they click on their information and their link, where their coupon's at, when it's going to expire. And like I said, we've set it up that 2 days before that link expires. So that'll be on a Friday that they get, that coupon expires. They'll get that text message and email and say, hey, just a reminder, in 2 days, yeah, 10% off, it's going to be gone. So.
Yeah, just quickly, both of these options here, whether it's coupon or archiving, is just adding some sort of urgency to the process. This is one thing we saw when we came over to the States some years back, having had a bit more experience in that time in Europe. It was quite normal to archive the things because like Nancy was explaining, it's hard to find images later on if you're sort of past that cycle now, if it's, you know, 6 months, 12 months later and so forth. We also found it is actually effective in getting some of those slow buyers in. There's a lot of studios out there that just constantly keep everything available online at the same price point and everything like that. The parents know that after a few years. If you photograph their kids for some years, and if they miss the coupon and then they think, well, I was going to buy anyways, but you know what, I won't, because I'll just buy it next year when the next pictures come around, or when I've got a bit more money in my budget. They just assume that they're online still, right? And so you might have lost that sale at that point in time. So archiving or sending an effective archiving message might just help you get those slower buyers in. And again, if they do want to buy something extra, or they contact you for whatever reason, you can definitely unarchive the job, or maybe you want to run a promotion like we spoke about earlier, Rose, with the Black Friday, for instance, where they can unlock and unarchive jobs just for that 1 week and they can buy something. Or you can actually, as you were asking, Ron, You could definitely change the price list at that stage as well, so that everything's a bit more expensive, or maybe there's a lesser, sort of a smaller set of products available and so forth. But all this is used for you as the studio to be able to leverage more sales before that archiving date, okay? And it is very effective.
Yeah. Okay. So, sales statistics, something I like about the GotPhoto system a lot is on the right side, you see that little graphed bar go up. You can kind of see information of like how many people have logged in, orders, prospects, kind of see where things are at, how quickly people have logged in, how successful it's been. And then on the left side, like this is just a little cheer team we did a couple weeks ago, local here. You can see like how much you've done in sales per that order, then what your average is. And then at the bottom, you can see access codes with orders. You can see like 16 people out of the 20 have ordered. So that's your buy rate of 80%. You can see harness really good information on the fly. I know sometimes in the past when we've done job shoots over multiple days, it's like averaging those days and using a different program to find that information and collecting that information. What all did they buy? What products did they buy the most of? How much was shipping on things like that? All of that's in there, which is very, very helpful when running a business. Obviously, we do this full time, you know, and stuff like that. So having that information is just super slick. And so when you create a photo job, on the left side, you've got your settings, QR code, photo management, selling, and statistics. That's just kind of like your tabs that you can go through on each job. They're all there kind of in that photo job. Your settings are your coupons, your QR codes is what you print off before. Photo management is where all your images are going to live. Selling, and then statistics is where you can kind of get all this information on the back end. This is kind of to show you what you can kind of see what parents have ordered and stuff. So on the left, what's nice is you can see on their order where they're at, like if they have paid, has the lab gotten the order, have they downloaded the photos, how many times have they downloaded the photos. The client can click a button and download their print release, which is really, really nice. That's always been kind of a hang up for us in the past. And then on the right side, you can see the images that they've ordered plus the size that they've got. So you can, like I said, that's in the tab where you would click on and replace that image with a retouched photo. Right there, you can check the cropping kind of and see if you need to adjust it, things like that. It's just very nice to be able to see all those images, see them quickly, and you kind of got one little spot that's got all of that information on it, which is just, it's really nice. As far as selling goes, you know, the GotPhoto people kind of told us is to sell a couple small packages without 5x7s and 8x10s. This is just in general. And then sell larger packages with multiple photos, 5x7s and 8x10s. You know, we get asked a lot, like what sells the most? What should you price it at? I mean, that's hard to gauge based on where you're at. Oklahoma is a very cheap place to live. And, you know, do you sell digitals? Do you sell no digitals? You know, there's a lot of conversations with that. Do you sell multiple poses? We do multiple poses with every shoot. So we have multiple images to show with. And so we kind of go upon the strategy of selling digital photos a lot. And then they can sell them with 5x7s and 8x10s and stuff with that. And so we just got it set it up that way. It works really well for us. We're super happy with it. There's not really anything else, you know.
Not really. We sell a lot of digital. For those of you that don't,
I don't know why.
I would have you do it. And then we do our print. We have our in-house printing. So everything, we kind of have our hands on everything.
Yeah.
I'll just note as well that on that, you can always at the end of every season, if you like, just download everything that you sold and the frequencies of it in one of the other reporting sections of GotPhoto as well. And you can analyze that every season to see what's selling, what's not, and sort of look at your pricing for the next season from there.
And you know, I think that's huge because when I photographed, I never touched anything about the selling. And so what I thought maybe was the big seller, I might find out now, wasn't that at all. And, you know, I want to put my effort where the sales are, you know. And so I think I'm not a information junkie, but I can see the value of it now. And I'm looking forward to using that information more effectively in the future.
And it's nice to have a program that has all of that together. Not your sales are over here, your images are over here, you know, it's just nice that all that program has that all together.
Well, see, and honestly, I used to try to stack up the paper forms and have a little spreadsheet here, and you know, you like, okay, package A, ooh, I sold a package B. Oh, here's another A, and here's a, what a pain. And so what happens is you go, yeah, I'm going to do that tomorrow, or next week.
Or never.
And then it's Christmas, and you go, oh, man, I really never got around to doing
And then
that,
your
did I?"
daughter's bugging you. Be like,
And
how
then
much did we sell that package A? This
and-
is your job.
And then I go, well, a bunch, you know, we sold it a bunch, which is like more than a little, but not a whole bunch, you know. So now I think this is going to be, I'm getting pushed into the whatever century we're in.
Yeah.
And Nancy, you're not
Okay.
different. This is quite typical, and I've spoken to many studios where they'll say, hey, I want to use you guys with X lab, for example, right? But we don't maybe have one of the products from the lab in our price or in availability for our price list just yet. But I just asked them, do you ever sell that out of interest? Because it doesn't sound like something that would be used for dance photography, for example. They say, yeah, I sell a ton. And I said, well, what's a ton? What's the number?
Right.
The first issue is they actually don't know, because like you, Nancy, they haven't filled in their spreadsheet from last season yet. So they have to go around digging, and they come back to me a week later and they're like, you know what, last season we sold 4 of those. So I said, so you don't actually sell it? I said, no, it seems like we didn't, but I always thought we did. So I said, well, we don't need that product, do we? And they were like, no.
Information is key.
I stressed out over, okay, don't laugh at me, mouse pads. And then I went, oh, we sold one. What? Why is it even on the price sheet? I don't know.
That's what
I want to
said.
get it down to what we really sell, what they really want, with a few little, okay, for the person that just is going to buy everything you ever wanted to make, you know, a few of those little things on the end, you know.
Yeah. So I guess it's not questions. If we have any questions. That's
Any?
good.
Yeah, questions? Well, there you go. It's been great.
You know,
There is a question. There is a question here for you guys. So someone's asking, when you say images are sent to the lab, are you typically printing in-house, or are they sent automatically to a third party? I paraphrase that a bit.
So all of our dance stuff is printed in-house. So we have 2 brands. One's called Poly Dance Photography. Everything within that is printed in-house. They also have a very nice, GotPhoto's got your own production print module. So it can tell you some more enhanced things like to print out and some things on the back end for that. A lot of our center stage brand stuff, because that's primarily a traveling brand. We're based here in Oklahoma, but we do travel a lot with it, that we're on the fly. Like we were gone all last week. And so anything that got ordered was sent to a lab and then printed and shipped from there, just because it's just handling online files and trying to upload things to Dropbox and print them here. It just got to be too out of hand. So, yeah.
And before we move on to Dave DeBoer's question, I just want to jump in and let everybody know who's watching this that sometimes I understand you might be this may all be new to you, and you don't want to ask a question that, you know, that I don't want to use the word stupid, but you know, like that doesn't make any sense. And I want you to get past that, because we all started where you might be right now. You know, until I started doing these things, I knew nothing about them. And then I had to just figure it out on my own. And you have an opportunity right now to ask Rose and Nancy and Michael, you know, any questions that you want. So don't be shy. I'm sorry, Nancy, I think I cut you off. Can you go ahead?
What? If I could remember what it was I was going to say, I would go ahead. No, what I would say is really, I mean, that's why I'm trying to speak, is to tell you that once again, I am the boat anchor. I am the duh of the family. I want to try it, but look, this is working. Let's do, you know, and Rose is like, oh, no, better, move on. And this GotPhoto hasn't been that hard. And that's important when you're a me personality, it's important. Rose can tackle anything with zest. I look at it and go, oh crap, another program I've got to learn. I don't want to learn anything else new. I have to learn another new camera. You know what I mean? And so I would encourage you, I think this will be good for your business because your order average, and that's what we're all about.
Yeah, I mean,
Are you
it
gonna
comes
make
down
some
to
money?
making money. So
Yeah.
she's more like, oh, I'll give it all butterflies and love hearts for free. And I'm like,
Yes.
oh, that's so not what we're gonna do
Yeah.
because we gotta make some money. So, but I mean, we're full time. Both her husband works in this, my husband works with this. We have part time employees, and 100% of our income comes from photography. Period. Nothing else. So we have to make good money. We have to do quite a bit of volume and stuff like that. It works for us. We would not be doing this if our sales went down, if our buy rate went down, like in a way that was like, oh my gosh, this is bad. I mean, it's only gotten better for us. So
Or
we're
if I
super
was
happy
getting,
with that.
or if we were getting any pushback from the studios, because we have done our current method, our past method, for a long time, and people seem to be very happy with it. They were happy with the fact that they could see it right then, and that they didn't have to let us pick. Some people, they pick the order from people. I can't imagine that. But now they get to see it and order online. And what I want to concentrate on, for me, Nancy, is how I can give them more and better posing and not worry about this. I want to worry about what I got into this business to do to begin with, which was take a nice photograph. And I want to give them photographs where they go, oh, I've just got to get it all. I can't decide which ones I like the best. I'm just going to get everything. See, those are the words I want to hear. And that's the dollar signs that I want to hear, because I know the amount of money I want to make.
Okay.
Ladies, we now have a number of questions here, so we might just get you to answer to those quickly, and then we'll do maybe a short answer first just to get through them, and then if they want to come back with more questions, they can retype in the box here. Ron, do you want to go through some of those, or should I?
Well, that first question from Dave is probably a good one for you about the QR codes getting associated with groups when you do both.
I'll let the ladies answer that first, actually. She's just asking, how do you work with basically group pictures using QR codes?
So essentially in the program, I know there's a couple different ways to do it, but essentially when you upload your individuals into their folder and you create their access codes, at the top, there's a place called group photos. Literally just like group photos, and you upload the group photos there and then they can see them. There are sophisticated ways within the program that we do not use at this point that you can assign that group photo to just that image, like just their collection of images, so they only see their group photos that they're in. We haven't used that at this point, but I know that there is a way to do that. But literally there's all the individual folders and their images on the bottom, and at the top it just says group photos, and you just upload the group photos there. That's what we're doing, and it works. Like I said, I know there's ways that you can just be it where they only see their group photos in there, but we haven't used that at this point.
Plus we have people that just take group photos, and so therefore we can give them that access code and they get to see all the group photos.
Yeah.
But I think the real question there though is how is the group associated with the individual? Is there like, do you have to see the group and assign it to the individual, or is it done automatically?
No, it's just a group folder that everyone in this photo job would see all of the group photos.
Okay,
You
let's
can
move
have
on.
it that you actually have albums in groups as well, so that you're in this, what Rose is referring to, where only certain groups, so the people in that group only would see it. This is also another option. You can have different albums entirely for groups as well, which some studios go for. And then to make it easier to do all these things, you have an option to resort based on the names list. So again, with dance it's a bit tricky because one person could be in many groups potentially, right? But if it's more like they're only in one group or in a school scenario and so forth, you would be able to just resort the photos based on the names list. And if the data is right with the group information, that makes it a lot easier then to place the group photos where they need to go. But again, we really usually look at this on a per case basis because it really depends on how you want to offer those.
Okay, let's move on to the next question. Marcus asks, he says he's new with volume shooting with dance studios, and do you advise keeping a simple pricing menu versus overwhelming somebody with a ton of options? And I think you've already kind of answered that a little bit, but you might want to expand on that.
Dun, dun, dun. This is like always, we get asked a lot about pricing, and people send in their pricing. And I would say there's so much to read on a pricing menu. That's a bad sign. That's a bad sign for me. So yes, a very short menu, simple. I mean, we have 5 packages.
Yeah, see, I'm eager to jump in on this because I have people that send me their price sheets and I print them out and I go,
That's a lot of
I
words.
can't understand their price sheets, and I'm a photographer and I can't understand their price sheet. So I have this here. This is what we based off of, but look, it's like little.
That was what we did last year.
This is last year. There's like, oh, look, little pictures, little packages, and very simple. Keep it very simple with a little bit of bling at the end.
We
Like I
don't do,
said.
and we don't do a lot of a la carte items just because I know a lot of the labs can print every little thing with a picture on it nowadays. You can really overwhelm it. So we want to make it like as clean, as simple as possible, and with the products that make us the most money. So just because, I mean, I know they can sell water mugs, you know, and stuff like that, but they're really expensive to produce. We don't sell a lot of that stuff because every once in a while, yeah, somebody's going to buy it. But if it's not a product that isn't getting purchased a lot, I don't want to muddy up the price list. But now transferring to online, you even want to simplify that more, you know, to have a very clear, concise pricing menu of a few options, few a la cartes, very simple. That works for us.
Yeah, simple is better. We don't even, for dance, we don't do those composite boards where you can get a poster with 5 images on. Why would I want to sell one thing when I can sell 5 things? No, just simple.
But that's just been our strategy. It works for us.
Yeah.
The next 2 questions from Marion and from Holly are both pretty related, and so I'll kind of like sandwich them into one question. And Marion is saying, how much has your average increased with the online ordering? And I think you alluded to it earlier. And Holly said that her biggest question is do you find your sales were higher even after paying the fee to use GotPhoto?
Yes. So prior to, our biggest package was like, what, $50? You've got our price sheet right
Our
there.
Best Buy, the Best Buy was $50.
So, I mean, that's obviously an order form per dance costume. So, I mean, it was just like, well, I hope, and a lot of people did get the Best Buy, and it was great. It was like, okay, every outfit, a lot of people would get that, and it was wonderful, and they get a digital and a couple prints and a group and stuff with it. But that was kind of like our biggest package we had on it. Now, since we're putting all the images together and they're ordering their outfits collectively, we have a lot larger packages on there. We've got like a, what is it, $29 package, a $39 package are our 2 smallest ones. And then it's like $50, $99, $159, $299. It's just like it goes up from there. So they're able to buy all their pictures together collectively. And I know with dance, it's hard to get a true order average because one dancer has 2 outfits and then the next dancer has 4 outfits. And then the next dancer has 8 outfits. So as far as like true per average order for recital pictures and stuff, it's hard to gauge that. So we kind of always did it based on outfits and stuff, try to collect that information for outfits. So yes, our order averages, we have found that a lot of people buy bigger, you know, and more because they're getting a lot more with those pictures together. They're getting a lot more digital poses with that. And I'm happy with that. And our still buy rate, like our buy rate was between 78 to 84%, you know, which is super happy for us. Like, I don't believe anyone that says their buy rate's 100%. Like, it's just not going to happen because you've got some people that aren't going to buy anything, but ours has kind of been in that, and I've been super happy with that in the past. But now it's still pertained at that 80%, you know, when you're at a dance recital. That's been what's been happening for us. So our buy rate has not gone down. Now, I collectively put that together with a really nice coupon code. If you didn't have any coupon codes and that communication going out there, our buy rate would not be anywhere close to that. So doing those smart things that push that sell in there is been why we've been able to maintain it. You know, great.
Plus, keep in mind, you know, like at Dance Unlimited or something, I would have 3 salespeople, 3 people taking orders, at least 1 person, maybe 2, and I pay people really well. And our payroll, you know, for some of these events, you know, could be a couple $1,000s, which is gone now.
Yeah, and
I don't have that anymore.
Exactly.
We are going to keep one girl to kind of help. Hey, hi, here's what's going on. I mean, she's just that person, you know, she's the person you want out front, you know, oh, you need to go. And then we did But other than that, and at smaller events, we won't have anyone there.
And I would say very honestly, we try to keep our cost of sales at 10% or less. And that includes the GotPhoto fee. So that will tell you how much we spend. Like we won't do a system that's more than that like collectively is the prints we have to print, shipping, GotPhoto fee, for me, for us, for what we need to make, it needs to be 10% or less. It cannot be more than that. So if you look at, if anyone's interested in like PPA and their benchmarks, they produce a benchmark survey, and it's something we've always kind of, we've always had a part of our, you know, strategies on how we spend our money. Is just like, if you have a retail space, then your cost of sales, or a home-based business, your cost of sales should be 25% or less. That's a profitable photography business, 25% or less. And then your general expenses can be 40 to 30%, depending on if you're retail or not retail, and then your labor, other things like that. So, I mean, your cost of goods for every dollar should be 25 cents or less. For us, because we just know, because we can print in-house and do a lot of things a lot more efficiently, that no matter what, it was not going over 10%. So that's just part of our strategy, and it works for us, and it's been really important to us. So I know Michael will talk about pricing and things like that, but yeah.
And the cool thing is the people at GotPhoto will help you. It's in their best interest to help you. You know, they want you to be successful, you know, and so the more successful you become, the more successful they are. It's a win-win for everyone.
Yeah.
Okay, we still have a couple more questions. Jeannie asked a really good question. What size job would be needed to make setting up a service like this worth it financially?
Ooh, that's a good question. I don't know if size job is the question, but more like volume you plan to do within this. I mean, we've kind of transitioned almost everything over to this. So like, if we do in-studio sessions with a small minimum fee, they still come in, we do their images, they still go up online. Dance stuff, cheer stuff, volume stuff, football, volleyball, things like that. It can apply for anything. We haven't used it on portrait work, but that's not what we do. We just do this kind of stuff. So I mean, it is not get this and tomorrow you're gonna be uploading photos. No, you're gonna be setting up your prices, you're gonna set up your communication strategies, you're gonna set up all the products that you want to order. If you're printing in-house, there's a lot set up. I mean, it took me a few days to like get everything in there and really feel very versed on like what the system is going to entail. So that's got to be worth it to you. I mean, I still think you can be part-time and make this work very, very successfully. Because like what Nancy said, we had a lot of staff at jobs paying $100, $200 a day. I mean, that's a lot of money, you know, when you're paying something. And now we were just talking the other day, it's like, oh my gosh, now instead of paying all these people and doing shoots more over a longer period of time, we're going to be able to consolidate, still making as much money, probably even more money without the cost we're spending on staff. And we'll be able to shoot more, because we were definitely having conversations like, since we do 27 at this point, how can we do anymore? You know, but now if we can get people to sign up different time slots and kind of crunch things in a little bit more, we'll be able to photograph more studios and stuff like that, that's huge. That's just going to make you even more money.
Plus, I think there are two other things to consider. Rose does not like to sell in person. Like if you said, like if you're a smaller studio and you're thinking about this for you, maybe your portrait sales, Rose is a good salesperson, but that's not her happy place in life, you know, to set up a selling appointment with somebody to come back in, you know, so that's something I think you need to consider. And I do believe, and I don't know this, but I think GotPhoto has different ways of handling the money, the percentages and stuff.
Yeah, it's different.
And
tiered.
And it is tiered, you know, so that's something to think about, you know, if you like doing in-person sales. And I know a lot of people that don't, a lot of photographers that don't. They love taking the photographs and they hate selling, you know, I mean, that's a fact.
Michael, do you want to add anything to that?
Look, I'll just quickly say now, because I was going to come back to it at the end anyways, but you might as well just mention it there. On our website, we do have very clear pricing, and whether you're doing one job or 100 jobs or even 1,000 jobs per season, there's somewhere in there that you can fit. And I guess having the benefits there, even if it is just as this question was sort of pertaining to, if it's just one job, but you know, you might have through the winter time a couple of jobs, or the next year even more, and then you're starting your sort of online archive of images, if you like. You're starting your customer base, and so maybe this time next year you might have run 5 even small jobs through the system, but now you've got all that information, data there that you can start working on. And as you grow, it's then easy because you've got all the tools in place and you know how to use everything. This is actually quite helpful. And if you are looking at becoming a dance school specialist or something like this, you know, you might as well start now, because it may help you acquire schools having a good system like that as well. So I would recommend just trying it out on a job and seeing if it does help your process and everything in general. But as Rose was referring to, we do have volume discounts for enterprise customers and so forth. So please do contact us about that, and we're happy to give you the pricing quote, if you like, if you are doing a high volume of work. Ron, do we want to get back to those couple other questions there before we wrap up?
Yeah, but I do want to make one more comment before we do, and that's that what was really interesting, something that Rose said and Nancy said, is that they're using it for individual sessions as well. You know, I had always thought that this volume sales software was really for when you're going and doing an entire, you know, recital portrait session or whatever, but the idea that you can actually apply it, you know, to individual sessions that you're doing, I think just kind of doubles down on how well this can work for some of us.
That's what I'm thinking, you know, when we're doing Skittles right now, that's those color shots that you saw. And, you know, we're timing them out to between 30 minutes or an hour. So it's not like we're doing 200 in a day. And I'm going to promote heavily the fact that everybody's going to be able to see everything online, because I think that's what's going to make us be at the leading edge of all of this.
Now's not the time to like sit back and see what's going to happen for next year. It's to be really aggressive.
Yeah.
I mean, like, it's a good booking time.
This is going to be our marketing tool, you know.
Yeah.
Hey, we don't know what's going to happen next year, but let me tell you how we've got it handled, you know. And that's because we don't know what's going to happen next year.
All right, we have two more questions. One is from Natalie. She's asking about, like, in terms of setting up packages, are the packages only one pose, or do you offer them, you know, like two poses in a team image? And I guess I'm going to like extend that even further, because, you know, there's always the mix and match packages where some people are allowed to, you know, get an 8x10 or maybe 5x7s in one outfit, and then, you know, and then add something else to it later. Or do you simply limit it, each order, to one outfit that they're doing? I guess I kind of like put in a couple of different questions in that.
Yeah, we prior to our packages, our price sheet was just one costume per order form. So now we've got two very small packages that don't have any 8x10s or 5x7s, and it's one pose only. Now we do have an a la carte list. You can within GotPhoto up that they have to have a minimum order or a minimum package before they can access the a la carte list. We don't have it set up that way.
Oh,
we don't have that set up that way, because she would be like, no, what if that person just wants an 8x10? You should let them. I'm like, fine, whatever.
See?
I don't care.
You guys need me. Everyone that has a studio needs somebody like me, because, you know, that's the
But
truth.
you can set that up that way.
But we're
don't.
multi-pose.
We do multi-pose. So yeah, we've got two packages in there, no 5x7s, 8x10s, that just one pose. And then after that, it's multiple poses, multiple images, things like that. Doesn't matter which costume.
Because see, Ron, that's where people want to spend more money. You know, I want them to spend more money. And if I only can get this of one pose, I'm only going to spend this much money. But if I can get all my poses,
yeah,
I'm going to spend all that money, you know? And here's the funny thing to think about that I think we all forget. Some of these people are spending, I can't even imagine how much to be in dance. Thousands of dollars for their costumes, for their travel, for their lessons. And why am I worried about giving them a memory for $25? I want to give them a memory for $150 or $250. These people are not they're not poverty stricken. And if they don't buy the pictures, they won't have a memory.
Right. Okay. So we have one more question, and then I'm going to let you guys, you know, wrap up, and Michael wrap up for GotPhoto. And so Marion is asking, how many photographers do you have? And I think what she's asking is, when you go and do a recital portrait studio, do you have more than one setup?
We do not. We set up one for individuals and one for groups. If it's a huge school, in a perfect world, Rose and I are at every school.
Mhm.
And one of us is shooting the individuals, and then the people are going over the group background, and either Rose or I are setting up the group. We have done this for so long that I prefer to pose, because some dance owners put them in poses that are not easy to photograph or even attractive. And, you know.
Yeah, we're kind of a two-person team. I'm usually always shooting. She's always directing. And we don't have any other staff from the dance studio in there. That's just our strategy. And then she'll run through. It used to be 3 poses of what we used to do prior to this. Now she'll say it's 5, but it'll be like 15. And I'm like, stop.
But it's easy, because once again, the more you give them, the more they're going to want to buy everything.
Like,
and I want them to want to buy everything. And we do have one school that this year, based on time constraints, we might have to set up 2 individual session locations.
It's pretty much what they'll allow to happen. I mean, there's a lot of situations where we're double booked, and then she'll go with her husband to a shoot. I'll go with my husband or to another lady to a shoot, and somebody's posing and somebody's shooting. That's kind of our mantra, and it really works really well for us. We used to do pose guides. We used to have other staff come in and help them pose, and then it was just like,
they don't look at them. They never know what they want to do.
Yeah.
It's just like,
we don't do that anymore.
But we do have like 20, 30 years of experience. So it's different than when it's your first year. I understand that.
And we run through it really quickly. A minute, a max, an outfit, max.
Yeah.
We'll run through quite a few poses with them.
I hope that answers your question, because
But we have 5. I mean, we have 4 people that can shoot if we need to split up all together. Mainly we just double book right now, but.
Okay, you're lucky there. If I had Beth in photography, we'd be in a bit of trouble. But she's amazing in working with the clients. So that's where we use her skill. Okay, let me go ahead and just first let me start with you guys and let you just give anything final that you want to say about the recital portrait business, GotPhoto, and then we'll turn things over to Michael.
Well, as far as our pas de deux group goes, I see a lot of beautiful photographs of people that can't spend any money. I mean, I'm being silly when I say that, but I mean, if you want to make a living, do recital pictures, do little dancers in cute little outfits, and make a lot of money and go to the Bahamas, when you want, and work real hard for 3 months. Which is what I do. I don't do what Rose does anymore, because I don't want to, and I don't have to, because she works the whole year round, because she has a family of 5. And that's why she does cheerleaders and football. So she's busy literally 365 days a year, probably more busy than she wants to be.
Until you retire.
Yeah.
And I'm taking over.
And since I'm semi-retired, and in a normal world, I only work 3 months, March, April, and May. I mean, that's when I want to work. And then I might do some fun things in the fall. And that's great for me, because I've got other stuff I want to do, and I've worked for a long time.
Yeah, that's just information. There's a lot of beautiful dance work out there, but the bulk of our income comes from little people and little tutus, and past the age of 14, it's not for us. It's those little people. So I think it's good information to know that this is applied. GotPhoto is very applied to that kind of demographic and those kind of things. We love to do those older girls and really beautiful things and stuff in the studio, but most of our income and the bulk of our work and success, it comes from those little people, little cute people.
I mean, Walmart is successful for a reason. They do a lot of folks through their front door, and that's what we try to do.
Okay. Michael, can you give a final thing that you want to say with GotPhoto?
Yeah, first of all, obviously, thank you very much, ladies. I think you do a very nice presentation there, and it's very easy to follow. And I think, judging by the way the questions came as well, there are people that were very interested all the way through here, so that's great. And thank you for vouching for our system. We really do appreciate that. But again, that's why we want to always get better in what we can provide to you studios, because obviously, if you guys are happy with that and you guys are growing, we're growing as well. So that's the easiest growth possibility for us. I'll just say one final thing about online in general, because I do find it personally a little bit strange that there are a number of businesses out there that are 100% paper-based in 2020. And I guess for me to summarize it would be that in the 70s, we sort of rolled out credit cards. And this is the first part of the process that we're doing and everything that we're doing day to day in terms of online sales of anything, whether it's volume photography or not. But in the 90s, we had desktop computers. We then moved to digital photography. And I'm sure all of you out there are using digital photography, not selling film anymore. And then, of course, we moved into smartphones at the beginning of this decade, at least in the mainstay. But still, the online sale of pictures is not 100% across the board. And that's very strange if you think about those other components that make up that whole process. We're all using computers and smartphones every day. We're all using credit cards every day. So get your photos online. You will be better for it. You don't have to listen to us. You're welcome to try it out yourself and just see how it works for you. And as Nancy and Rose both iterated, I will reiterate as well, COVID is the time to do that, right? People are more than ever online. Sales of devices are through the roof, and people are online all day long. And so now's your best chance to give it a whirl. So please don't hesitate to reach out to us. Even if you feel like Nancy, where it's too overwhelming, we'll try to really help you with that in the initial basis. And I'll just pop a line here in the conversation or the chat that you can book a demo in, but you can also reach us at business@gotphoto.com. Thank you as well, Ron. It's great being part of the How to Do here, and I hope this is helpful for your members as well.
All right. Well, thank you, Michael. And once again, thank you, Rose and Nancy, for being a part of this. That brings an end to one of our next webinars, and look forward to seeing everybody at our next webinar. So thank you very much, and we'll see everybody later.
Thanks for attending, everyone.